Now we're going to look at comparing numbers that are bigger than 100 all the way up to the 200s. Okay, we talked before about place value and how the most powerful value is on the left. We also talked about how you can show your understanding of the place value and what a number means by writing the expanded form or a picture form. We're going to use those very same skills to compare two numbers. Let's look at these numbers. We're going to start with these numbers that are less than 100, smaller than 100, and we're going to compare them. I'm going to leave a spot in the middle for us to put these signs. This sign means less than. This sign means greater than. And this sign means equal to, which also means the same value. If I look at these two numbers, I need to start with the place value on the left for each number to determine their value. Here's the left, here's the left. I know that in these numbers, the 3 is telling me about tens, and the 4 is telling me about tens. So I know the place value for these numbers is tens, and the place value for the next number is ones. I'm going to start with the one that is more powerful, the one that has the most value, the one that means more. That's the tens place value. Because 3 tens is the same as 30, 4 tens is the same as 40. This 4 over here in the one spot just means 4. It doesn't mean tens, it's talking about 4 ones, which is just 4. Let's look at that left most powerful place value and compare it. This number has 3 tens, this number has 4 tens. If I just look at the numbers, I know that this number is bigger than this number. So I could probably make my decision about which sign to put in to the middle just by looking at the tens for these numbers. But just to make sure we show our understanding all the way, let's draw a picture to prove it. 3 tens looks like this, and 4 ones looks like this. This number is 34. 3 tens, 10, 20, 30, and 4 ones. 31, 32, 33, 34. This number is 46. 4 tens and 6 ones. 10, 20, 30, 40 matches the 4 and the tens value, and 6 ones. 40, 45, 46. See how I use that quick count way instead of counting each one? It's faster and easier. Now if I look at these numbers just in the picture form, I can tell that one has more of something. This number, if I just look at the tens, this side has more tens. So I know that this one is more, has a bigger value. I wouldn't even have to look at the ones column, because if the tens column shows me one of them is bigger and they're not the same, then I know that that whole number must be bigger. If I look at the ones column, I can also see that this column has more ones than this one. So when I compare these two numbers, both the tens and the ones on this side are bigger. It has more. So I know that this number 46 is greater than is greater than 34 because it has more tens and it has more ones. Let's take a look at another number to see if that gets a little tricky. When we look at these numbers, we'll start with the most powerful place value on the left, the tens. we can see that they both have two tens. So if I drew a picture, the picture would be the same. So that means I need to now look at the ones column and compare how many ones they have. This number has 2 ones. This number has 8 ones. Since this place value is the same, all I can do to determine which one's greater is look at the ones. This place value has more, so this number is greater. Let's look one more time before we add our hundreds, to see if we can find one that looks a little bit tricky. In this number, it gets a little trickier. If you start with your tens place value, you can see that this number has 3 tens, so let's draw that, and 7 ones, 5 tens, and 1 one. If I look at the ones first, I could get tricked and think that this number is greater, because it has more ones than this number. But I know that I cannot look at the ones first. I have to look at the most powerful place value, which is always the number on the left. The tens. This number has 3 tens. This number has 5 tens. So even though this one has more ones, this one has more tens, and tens are more powerful than ones. 5 tens means 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. 3 tens means 10, 20, 30. The ones don't really matter when we're looking at this one to decide which one is greater, because the tens are very different. This one has more tens, so this number is greater, even if this one has more ones. That tricks us a lot. Sometimes we forget to look at the most powerful side. Let's go to one more problem where we're going to add 100, numbers that are bigger than 100. Now we're comparing numbers that have a new place value. So we're always going to start on that far left side because that's our most powerful place value. And this value is 100. This number has 100. And this number has 100. Since the most powerful place value is the same, now we need to look at the next place value, which is the tens. This number has 0 tens, so I will not draw any. This number has 2 tens. Now I could stop right there because my answer is very clear. This number doesn't have any tens, but this number does. They both have ones. I can tell already which number is greater, but let's finish the drawing to see if that helps us. This number has 8 ones. And this number has 4 ones. If you just look at the pictures, you can tell that this picture has more than this picture. So we know that this picture is greater. We could also show this in expanded form. We could write that this number is 100 plus 0 tens, so we won't write anything for tens, plus 8. 100 plus 8 is 108. This number is 100 plus 2 tens, 10, 20, plus 4 ones. You can even see that the equation chain is longer in the expanded form on the number that is greater than it is on the number that is less. We know that 124 is greater than 108 because it has tens, it has more tens, this one doesn't have any, than this number. Another way I can show my understanding for comparing numbers is to change this sign. If 124 is greater than 108, I could also say it this way. If this one is greater than this one, then this one is less than this one. Being able to say it both ways can really show your full understanding for the comparison of those two numbers.